Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now, as most of you know, we already have Summer of Suffering. It's kind of funny that Kabam misnamed these events, because as summer is coming to the end, Summer of Suffering for Kabam has started. So, first fight was the Destroyer, and let's be face it was kind of a gimme. It was kind of a warm-up fight. I don't think the same will be said about the next fight. So thanks to MCOC player 920, we do have full fight details, full fight information about the next fight. And this might be a good chance, well, to discuss it and give you guys a bit of time to prep and consider your options beforehand in case you are making some rank up decisions, and this might affect some of it, or at the very least, so you are somewhat prepared as this fight arrives. So again, thanks to MCOC player for leaking the fight. And we have Summer of Suffering Part 2 Mallman. Health is going to be 1.3 million. So we are in the labyrinth of legends helpful territory. Buffs. The defender reduces all incoming damage by 90%, which the defender activates. When the defender activates special attack, this damage reduction is disabled. When the defender finishes a special attack, they take a burst of damage equal to 350% of the damage they took during their special attack. After this damage is applied, the damage reduction is reactivated. Now, this node, largely or generally, considered as a power sting supercharger node. Champions like Spider Ham or Cassie Lang and stuff like that typically would do extremely well in this node. However, it is not explicitly asking you for power stings. The damage increase will also affect damage over time effects that are active at the time of the special attack. So for instance, if you are running, let's say, Human Torch as an example, and you have your Nova Flames active on the Mallman, all that damage that he took during the special attack from Nova Flames at the end will be multiplied by 350% and dealt as direct damage to Mallman. And that is going to be key information, because that is how you're going to get this fight down. The defender's ability accuracy is increased by 200%. That means his shrug-offs will work always. While close to the defender gains a fatigue debuff every 3 seconds, reducing their critical rating permanently. Staying away from the defender causes fatigue effects to gradually fall off. Keep in mind, these will be placing debuffs on the Mallman, which is actually something we will want to do. Because in order for us to place debuffs on Mallman, we will need him in Frenzy. Otherwise, he's going to shrug everything off. So the fight is going to go like we place 20 debuffs on Mallman, he shrugs off 20 debuffs, and then we are placing more damage over time effects on Mallman, and then he's starting to take some damage. While the opponents have active buffs, this champion activates Power Flood out of spite, granting 18% power per second, so this spite node, and this kind of will be helpful unless AI is BSy, because you do want him activating as many special attack ones as possible whilst he's in frenzy as he's taking damage. Every 25 seconds, all buffs and debuffs are removed from both champions, and both champions are reset to 0 power. This node sucks. This node is making this fight a lot harder. This Mallman fight would be quite manageable and relatively easy if not for this. This is going to be the biggest pain and problem, because you have to place the debuffs in order to do damage to Mallman effectively, and this is going to purify that, and it's going to suck. The defender is immune to stun, but of course he is. Each time the attacker blocks an attack, their block efficiency reduces by 6%. After 10 stacks, the defender's next attack is unblockable, so bubble shield, and this is just going to increase the chip damage. Ultimately, I think this fight kind of looks manageable. It does look very tricky. I do see entirely what Kabam has planned for this fight. So again, we need to give him 20 debuffs, get him to frenzy, and then have him spam level 1s as we're having dot effects on him, ideally. We also know the solo objectives of this fight. And here is the juicy bit, the interesting part. So the solo objectives are Mystic, offensive damage over time. Mutant, size M. And Science Champion, defensive utility combat. So, let's take a look at them. So, we have Mystic, Dot. Out of all of these champions, I think, personally, the best chance likely will be for Wiccan. Because not only his neutralized passive, he can also place passive incinerates. He will also place active incinerates, obviously. And you can pause them and you can stack them and you can build up fair amount of them. So I do think that Wiccan should be a fairly solid counter here. Maybe Mojo. Mojo could be quite interesting, maybe, with his passive degens that will obviously also do damage, but the power reset, I don't know, we'll see about that. And Tiger and Werewolf, maybe, but those are... I would reckon that Wiccan and Mojo would be doing better. I think. Not entirely sure, of course. Not super sold on Kushala unless she's super high sig as well. But who knows? Next up, Mutant Size M. Mutant Size M, I think we do have a couple of good champions, one perfect champion for this fight. The perfect champion is going to be Toad. Because Toad is going to put those strong passive and active poisons, and Moleman's going to be shrugging them, and he's going to be taking tons of damage all the way through. Toad also has regen to recover chip damage, and as Moleman's going to be throwing special attacks, and as the debuff purification from Tranquilize can kick in, passives are going to remain. Toad's poison debuffs are going to get converted into passive poisons. One Moleman's going to be already in frenzy. So I think Toad should absolutely melt that Moleman fight. I think Toad is going to be very, very good for it. Besides Toad, I do think that Archangel still has a solid chance, because Archangel is going to be, placing his Neuros on, inflicting lots of debuffs. He does have increased ability accuracy, but the point is that Archangel will still be able to get Neuros on, and with those Neuros obviously ticking away and then doing significantly more damage during Moleman's special attacks and his burst, he should be quite good. Other than that, Weapon X, potentially, maybe, or I don't even know. I think it's primarily Toad. Right. Namor, maybe, with his bleeds. Sauron, doubt it. Awaken Sauron with high sig, maybe you can cheese it. But yeah, kind of doubtful. I think it's all going to be either Toad or Archangel. And the final one is Science. And this is actually kind of good, but it's going to be tricky. Obviously, here we are looking at Spider-Ham, I think. Maybe Cassie. But you're also going to have to be very, very careful, because you're going to be placing your power stings and debuffs, and you're going to have to deal with a lot of shrug off. There's going to be some chip damage. But then, once you do get him 20 frenzy, I kind of reckon Spider-Ham or Cassie could potentially have his way with him. Could be quite interesting. This fight seems to have been primarily made for the power sting champions, again, as I mentioned at the beginning. However, the one champion that I really wished we would see here, but we didn't, was Human Torch. Because Human Torch would absolutely annihilate this fight. Because level 1 on Moleman's energy, when you block the beam, not the beam, but well, the lightning bit that goes on the ground. So he would be able to build up some smolders. When you have Nova Flame, then all of that's passives, and he could shrug off none of your debuffs, which would be awesome. And he would obviously also not be able to deal with Nova Flames, who would be damaging him during his special attacks, and he also has power stings. So Human Torch would be perfect for it. When this fight's going to come out, I think I'm just going to do first fight with Human Torch just to see how crazy or good it is. But yeah, Human Torch is not going to be able to do this, unfortunately, within the required tags. But Spider-Ham and Cassie Lang, I'd say, are the two more likely heroes of this. So it's fairly specific as well. So let me know how this fight sounds to you. obviously as soon as it will launch, not tomorrow, 1 week from now. I will be live. I will be testing everything that I said right now, putting it theory to the test, and yeah, doing it live, getting wrecked. Let me know what you guys think about the difficulty of the fight, and do you look forward to it? And I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about